Hey, and welcome. So you are thinking about opening up your relationship, right? That's why you are here. Or you are maybe already in an open relationship, or you tried one and you just went like, but this thing is not working. Well, it can work, but there are steps to make sure that it does work. And over the 18 years that I've been in an open relationship and, helped so many different couples and, talked to so many different people, and, friends and family, and people that when it doesn't work, when it didn't work, like I can see there are some very basic mistakes that people keep doing all over again. And I'm very happy to talk to you about those mistakes because I want you to have a good, happy relationship. And it's for a potentially selfish reason because I really, really dislike when every time I say like I'm in an open relationship, then people just go like, oh, that can't work because, my friend that tried it and actually didn't work for him. I understand it doesn't work every single time, but it's kind of like saying, well, relationship don't work because my friend Mary, like she got together with John and then they broke up 2 years later. It didn't work. Relationships can't work. Well, it just depends what sort of relationship. Like it sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't work, just like any other relationship. So let's not lose hope. What I'm going to talk to you about is about the 3 most common mistakes I see that people are doing. So let me get my notes so I don't forget. One most clear and most obvious mistake that people are making is your own clarity. If you are not sure why you are opening your relationship, it's really hard to do it well because then we can't determine how to open your relationship. So your first why is the most important question that you have to ask yourself or your partner if he comes to you that I want to have an open relationship. This can actually, this why, it's kind of a podcast on its own, or its own story. So let's just go very briefly in here. Why could be options like, well, I've got a long-term relationship, our sexuality is not working, I would like to experience myself as something new. Very common. Second one is what I see quite often is, well, we are kind of just about to break up, but our relationship is not great and we kind of would like to have more experiences, so we decided not to break up but opening up our relationship. Let me just say, this hardly ever actually works because if your relationship is already on rocks, then adding extra challenges as opening up relationship, it's not a great idea, but it can work, but you just have to be prepared to put lots of work in. One of the also really common ones, when I ask like, why do you want to open up, then people just go, I don't know, I just want to sleep with more people rather than with one person. I'm just wired that way. And that is, in my books, completely valid option. And it's like our preferences as a human beings or as a sexual beings, it's like saying to somebody, well, no, you can't be bisexual because you are just meant to be orientated onto your one gender. Well, it's not that simple, right? Like, yes, we can try to do that, but it doesn't necessarily ring the true nature. And one of my reasons why I wanted to open a relationship was I love my husband, like we've been together for 18 years, we are married, we have children, we've got a house together, we've got a beautiful life together. But I always felt like, well, but I don't want to be with the same person for the rest of my life. I want to have my nesting partner for the rest of my life. But I'm a flirtatious being and I want to sometimes have some fun outside of my marriage. And I want to do it in a way that doesn't challenges necessarily my marriage. I want to keep my marriage. I want to stay married, yeah? So that was the first mistake, is if you don't know why, it's really hard to know how. Let's talk about a second one. Second very, very common mistake, and this is where things just go terribly wrong, is you actually don't have good communication skills in your relationship. what are communication skills? Because everybody always say, if I ask people like, well, how come it works? Or, what's the most important part? And everybody say communication skills. And I would say that too. What's most important? Communication skills. But we all have a different levels of communication skills. So what does it actually mean? And can you develop it yourself? Do you need the help of a therapist? I did both. Like, we did for years and years with my husband. We've been practicing a tool which is called voice dialogue. It's potentially similar to Gestalt therapy. You're talking to the different parts of yourself. Again, this is a chapter on its own, and everybody will have a different communication tools. The main part is, at least in my opinion, is to be honest about your feelings and about your needs. And if you are honest and you come to your partner in a good space and in a space where you can be vulnerable and saying, these are my needs, this is what I want, rather than pushing them for something they are not sure about, but you really want to, and so you are happy to cross their boundaries, that's not a good communication skills. So in my books, a good communication skill is when you can be clear about your own needs and you communicate it from a place of empowerment and vulnerability. I can't pronounce that, sorry. Rather than empowerment, therefore I need to be assertive and I really need to say what I want from them and they have to deal with that. That is not going to work. So the third most common mistakes that people are making is they rush it. They go fast. They go too fast. It's kind of like when you are trying to build a business, let's say, and somebody just go, I've got a great idea. Let's just chuck 100 grand at it and let's just run with this idea. But there's actually no systems in place. Therefore, it can't really work. And so when we are opening relationships, there are few steps before we actually opening up, which is strengthening ourselves and our relationship that is already existing. So we are working and strengthening your current dynamics. If there is a shit going on in your relationship, sorry, I take it back because there's always something on in every relationship. If there is a really big problems going on in your relationship, opening up is going to make a huge mess out of it. And this is why it often doesn't work. And that's why people say like, well, we tried to open up and didn't work. Of course it didn't work, because you really do have to sort out your own things, your own mess. So you have to clean your own dirty laundry in your own relationships and your whole household before you stepping out to the rest of the world. I promised you 3 most common mistakes, but let's say this is a bonus material because I'm just thinking like, well, the 4th thing what I again see really open and generally doesn't work so well. People go, let's open up relationship, let's be more sexual with other people rather than exploring relationships or intimacy or fun or flirt or those kind of things. And because they want to do it as a couple, which is very nice and admirable, then they go and take themselves to some random sex party or swingers nightclub. And look, I've been to those places. I know what they look like. I don't go there anymore. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't mean that it's not going to work for you. I know there's lots of swingers that are really happy. But what I wanted from the experience is definitely not what I got. And so seeing couples there that are sitting miserable around the table, kind of want to approach other people, but they can't approach other people because they are just too shy, they didn't sort out their shit, they are not very clear on their boundaries, they've got a major jealousy issues, or they then start playing with another couple or with another single person. One of those couples then just loses their plot and leaves. I've seen that quite a bit. Just don't do it. Just don't go there. Like, don't go start opening your relationship in some sort of a seedy swingers club. It's just a bad idea. If you want to know more and want to learn, not only like what mistakes are people taking, but what are the steps that you need to take before you start opening up your relationship. Well, I've got my own community, which is based on a school platform, and it is pretty much about schooling. So it's not a dating site, it's not full of great advices of people that don't know what they're actually talking about. I am getting couples in there or people that have been in open relationships. I don't want to hear any shoulds and coulds and those kind of things and judgments, because we are here on this community to learn together and to support each other. So if you want to click the link below, join my community, and there's heaps and heaps of free programs, there's heaps of talks, there's other people that've got actually positive experiences, and we are learning from each other. Join me now.